So hey Lawn Care Nation, Happy New Year. It's 2020, and to start this season off, I thought it'd be fun to do a series of videos from time to time where I answer some of the questions that you guys message me. So hey guys, when I originally thought about doing this video, I was thinking about doing it as part of a series because there'd be no way for me to answer everybody's questions in just one video. That would be just way too long of a video. So I was thinking of a name that I could call this series of videos, and I came up with something that I thought would be kind of lawn care business related, and that's a coffee break Q&A. So that then sparked another idea that I had, and that was thinking back to GIE 2019 when I was visiting all the booths there, and I ran into the OXX Beyond Rugged CoffeeBoxx booth. Now this is the world's toughest coffee maker. So I reached out to them after seeing it at GIE and being impressed, and asked them if they would be interested in sending me one so that I could share it with you guys and test it and review it, take it out on some job sites for this upcoming season and see how well it does, and then do a review for you guys in the future. And so I thought this would be a great way to incorporate this to give you guys a sort of a sneak preview of this particular coffee maker, and just have it as part of this Q&A series. Now this video isn't sponsored by them, just to be clear. I just thought it'd be a fun way to incorporate this product into this series. So if you're interested in finding out some more information on this product, I did a video at GIE. I'll link it up here in the card above, and you can check out what they had to say about it at the GIE Expo. Okay, so our first question comes from Joshua Samaj, and it says, "Hey Julio, I'm a first-year solar owner-operator. I get asked about other services that I don't offer, like tree service. I wanted to ask if you think I should partner up with a local tree company and refer customers and leads to them for commission, or just hand it over to them. The reason I ask is because I'm working on finding ways to bring in more income since I'm in my first year of business. House Lawn Care." And then he goes on to say, "Thanks for all the valuable information you put out." Well, Joshua, and I hope I'm saying that right, I think it's a great idea to partner up with other services that you see a need for from your clients and work out a commission deal. It's a great way to make that extra income, and you're right there on the front lines. You know what your customers are looking for and what they may need that comes across from week to week. Things like you said, tree services, or maybe fencing, or dog waste pickup services, all those sorts of things, window cleaning, things that you aren't going to do yourself, like you mentioned. I think it's a great idea. The biggest or only piece of advice that I would offer to you is to make sure that you vet those companies yourself. Because if you have a great relationship with your clients that you've built up, and you're at a point like, say, for example, like I'm at with some of my clients, where they don't even ask me the price of jobs anymore. They just tell me to go ahead and do it when it's convenient to me. So I don't want to do anything like that, or anything that's going to damage that relationship when I'm able to just go do jobs and bill a customer's credit card, no questions asked. So you want to make sure that you are in fact vetting those companies that you are going to refer, because if a customer says, "Hey, I need my trees trimmed, or I need my gutter cleaned," and those are things that you're not willing to do, but you know a company that does it, you better make sure that that company is going to treat your customer the way that you would treat them. Because if your customer takes you on your word, they're basically using the trust that they have in you, that a company that's going to take care of them, and it's not going to rip them off or leave them high and dry or in the lurch. So if something were to go haywire, that could damage your relationship with your client. And then you got to think, was that worth, a $20 commission or a $50 commission or whatever the case may be that you work out with a particular brand, even if it's a percentage of the job or whatever the case may be. You have to weigh those, pros and cons of that sort of situation. If you find those like-minded business owners that are like you, that are willing to provide that top quality service, that have a great reputation, then it could absolutely be beneficial for everybody involved. And you could work out an agreement with them as well if they're a tree-only service, and you could be their go-to guy for them to refer for lawn care services. So it could be a great situation. Just make sure you do your due diligence. Okay, so our next question comes from Murphy's Lawn and Landscape, and he asks the importance of having a budget in a lawn care business. And he goes on to say, it's important to know where every penny is going. Absolutely. Having a budget or knowing your numbers, as everybody talks about it, refers to, is super important. It will either make or break your career as a lawn care service provider. Throughout, the 14 going on 15 seasons that I've been in lawn care, I've seen a lot of other guys struggle with this as well. I struggled with it in the very beginning. Here in Canada, when you start a business, depending on the amount of income you make, when you're first starting, if you're just a small, single owner operator, you can choose to report your taxes on a yearly basis. And then when you get to a certain, amount of income, they switch you over to quarterly, like every other business. But they give the small smaller businesses the option to start off doing it or reporting yearly. Now, this can be a huge trap, like I found out, because I was, in my first year just having a great time. In my last job, I was making $17 an hour, and I thought, hey, if I can make $17 an hour, then I'm going to be in great shape when I go out on my own. And even though I started off with a franchise business, it was sort of giving me this false economy, this false hope of, I'm a business person now, I'm running my own business, and not really paying attention to those numbers, because I didn't need to really sit down and crunch those numbers, because I had a year before I would need to report. Well, what I found out after, my very first year was that I probably could have made more money working at McDonald's, cooking fries, than I did, working in my lawn care business, for the amount of actual work I was doing, the amount of hours that I was actually putting in, not realizing and not really thinking about the grand scope of, insurance, the costs of equipment, franchise fees that I had, cell phone bills, all of the licenses, everything that goes along with running your own business. So it was a real eye-opener that first year. And, like I say, I've seen guys struggle with this. I've seen other guys in the industry that, they can cut a lawn like nobody's business. They can trim hedges beautifully, but they don't like doing the paperwork. They don't like taking care of that part. And I've seen guys even go as far as be owed tons of money, like thousands of dollars from customers, and not because the customer's not willing to pay them, but because they just have neglected sitting down each month to do the billing and send it to them. So it's really important to keep on top of all of your numbers on a weekly basis. Know what all of your expenses are. And now this will be hard if you're going into, say, your very first year. The best advice here would be to try to find a mentor in the business that can give you an idea of what it costs in your area to run an actual business, with insurance and health care costs, and your vehicle, your tools, and everything that comes with running a lawn care business. If you can't do that, then your first year is going to be, up in the air, and you're going to have to really sort of guesstimate what your costs will be, and then you can month to month, quarter to quarter, and then over the year, really start to define what those costs will be, and you'll be able to better predict what your next year will be. But keep an early eye on those numbers right from the beginning, what you're spending and what you need to actually survive, not only to get by in your business by paying all of those fees, but what of all of the other fees that aren't business related? What about your rent, your groceries, tuition for your kids' college fund, your winter fund if you're in an area where it's seasonal. So it's absolutely important to have a budget, to start learning your numbers right from the beginning. Anybody can go out and grab a push mower and start mowing some lawns, for $30 a lawn and stuff like that, and make some quick beer money and stuff like that, and think that they are a so-called business. But it really takes a business person to be able to go the long haul, to be able to be in business that first year, the second year, 5 years, 10 years, and be able to say, this is my only form of income that I've had over these years. I've solely survived off of the income of my business, and I've been able to be able to thrive, feed my family, pay the mortgage, pay the car payments, all that sort of stuff that life throws at you. Okay, so the last question that I'm going to do today, just to keep this video under control time-wise, is from Out of the Park Lawn Care. And he asked Julio how to stop getting stiffed by customers and how to retain them through the winter months. So this is something that I've addressed multiple times on my podcast and on this YouTube channel as well. And the solution that I found was stepping away from any cash payments and not accepting checks or anything like that, and going strictly to credit card payments for all customers. A mandatory credit card policy, and it's a policy where they have to give me their credit card number up front. So, when I meet a customer, I quote them. If they want, me to go ahead before I even, go and start doing the very first job, I need to have a credit card in my hand, and I basically take a copy of it, a carbon copy, sort of old school credit card machine where you stick it in with the carbon slips, and you ring that top little piece over it. It imprints their credit card on that carbon copy. I just write on that slip that it's a pre-authorization for monthly lawn care. The customer signs it. I get their CVV number off the back of the credit card, write that in the top corner, and away they go. This is, they've given me now authorization to charge their credit cards on a monthly basis for what I've quoted for. Now, I will only charge them for what work I've done each month and for only things that I've actually quoted them for. So another thing that I do is that I stepped away from giving them quotes verbally. I email every quote now. I don't even do handwritten, paper quotes anymore because I want to have an easy record to be able to find them. And email is the best way that I found to do that. So I will, email them all a quote. If I go to somebody's house and they want to meet me beforehand and walk me through their property, that's no problem. I will go and do that as well. But when it comes to doing the quote at the end of the meeting, I just say, you know what, I'll get a quote together and I'll email it to you this evening. And away we go. I send them the quote. Not only does it have a list of all the prices of everything we talked about, but then it also has all of my policies in place regarding dog waste and trampolines and, leaves for the fall and all of those extra charges that people may not be thinking about. And now they have it in writing basically, and they can respond to that email to me to let me know to go ahead. If that's the case, then I get that credit card number off of them on the first service before I start doing any work, and away we go. That relationship and those boundaries are set. At the end of each month, I just bill their credit cards, and this has worked fantastically. I used to have to chase customers for checks. Sometimes they'd be really good customers that would eventually at some point in time, miss a payment, and then I would be sending a reminder and then sending another reminder and having to go to their home in the evening when I see their car in the driveway and just trying to chase money. And, at the end of the day, you're killing all of your profit that you would have made with all of these extra trips and fuel and gas going back and forth, and having that uncomfortable situation of having to confront a customer about not paying their bill. So once I switched to a mandatory credit card policy, I haven't had any issues with customers not paying me. Now, you have to be willing, if you're going to do something like this, to walk away. Some clients are going to say, you know what, I'm not comfortable doing that. I don't want to pay you with credit card. And, once you get a few years under your belt when you're working, you'll get to that mindset where you go, that's fine, but you're not my ideal customer. You won't say that to them to their face, but you'll be thinking that in their head, and you just stick firm to your policy that, that's unfortunate, but unfortunately, we only do, credit cards on file. That's the safest way for everybody that we've found over the years, the safest and fairest way. So to the second part of your question on how to retain those customers over the winter months, the biggest thing I can say here is just by building a good relationship. Now, depending on where you are situated, if you have a true winter, or if you have, somewhere where you can work all year long. Even here where I am, we do get snow, and if you're going to be doing snow removal, maybe you can work for those customers cleaning their driveways and their sidewalks, and you can do that sort of stuff as well. But if you really want to, there's a whole bunch of other work to keep in contact with those clients. You can do Christmas lights, you can do gutter cleaning, window cleaning, you can do all of your prunings in the winter. There's so many different jobs, your fall cleanups, lots of things that can keep you, obviously not on a weekly basis, but keep you still, with those points of contact with that customer throughout the winter to keep that relationship. And like I said, it all goes back to that relationship. For the most part, for me, I shut down at the end of the lawn care season, usually about mid-November, and I don't see those customers again until the beginning of the next season. Now, another thing that I do when I give those clients that initial email quote, I also state in there that their service will continue the next season until they cancel. So they have to let me know that they're going to cancel. So the next season, I just assume that they are going to sign up with me again. So what I do is about a month before the season's about to start again, I send out a email to all of my clients just saying, Happy New Year. Hope everyone is doing well. The season is scheduled. Spring is coming. The season is going to be underway pretty soon. I will be showing up to do everybody's first cuts between such and such date, depending on the weather. If there are any cancellations or changes to your service, please let me know by certain date moving forward. Well, so I'll usually send this out the beginning of February and give them a month to respond, and basically say by March 1st, let me know if you're canceling or if there's any changes. And it just saves a lot of time having to call each and every customer, but it also then lets them know that, hey, you're just gonna start showing up again. You've got their credit card number on file, that you're just gonna start to continue again until or at such time that they let you know that your service is no longer needed. So there you go, Lawn Care Nation. There is my first coffee break Q&A video. So if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing. Leave a comment down below if you've got a question that you want me to answer in a future coffee break Q&A, or you can email me, of course. Head on over to lawncarebusinesssuccess.com, hit that contact page, or hit me up in the DMs on Instagram. So that's it for this one, guys. Here's to wishing you guys all overwhelming success and freedom in your lawn care business. Bye for now.